Jeremy Kulish with Main Street Insider reporting for Some of Change. We're here with Lewison, front pager of Daily Kos. Do you have another title as well?
Also editor of Daily Kos TV.
Okay, fair enough. So, tell us, how did you get involved with that sort of work, that video-intensive reporting style?
Well, in 2007, as the presidential campaign was sort of kicking into gear, I got interested in doing video. I hadn't done any video before then, but I was watching a debate between the Democratic candidates and thought this would be something that would be interesting to splice up little parts of it and try to focus in on specific things they were saying. And I had a feeling that 2008 was going to be the year of internet video for presidential campaigns, and thought, hey, this would be an interesting way to try to see if a random person could make an impact on the campaign.
Well, I am too.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to think I was in that league, but.
So what brought you to Daily Kos with that idea?
Well, I'd been a reader of Daily Kos for a long time. It's always been a great place to get information about politics and to also talk to people that share the same general progressive outlook that I share. So I'd been a long-time reader, but in 2007 I started writing diaries, and in the latter part of the year and then early 2008, the video stuff I was doing started to gain attention of the community, and they really were instrumental in sharing it with other people and promoting it out. So it was really a good place to go to meet people who wanted to talk about politics, and we're going to tell other people about it.
What's the best part about being, a Daily Kos insider? Are there any perks you can tell us about?
Well, there's no real perks such as it is, but for me personally, the best thing is being able to talk about political issues, but not needing to be tied down by I'm trying to achieve a particular campaign or help a particular candidate. That I'm really being able to look at things from the perspective of what I think matters as far as policies and values. So it's really nice to be free to say what I believe, and that's probably the best perk, such as it is.
Would you consider your work partisan?
I'm a Democrat, and when it comes to campaigns, I've always supported Democrats, and I don't shy away from that at all. But at the same time, I wouldn't hesitate to criticize Democrats if I don't think that they're doing things that are either in the best interest of the party or, in general, the things that I think we should be fighting for. So it's partisan, but with a purpose.
So, you mentioned how you got into the whole video thing. What did you do before that? Did you have a political background at all?
A little bit, actually. I started out of college working at a software company called Real Networks, and we made the first audio-video software for the internet. And I worked in marketing. I was technical for a marketing person, but wasn't a developer. And a woman I worked for there, named Maria Cantwell, had served in Congress. And in 2000, she decided to run for U.S. Senate. I went to go work on her campaign, and ended up, she won. She beat an incumbent Republican, and I went to D.C. with her, was her communications director. But that was about 4 years before I started with Daily Kos that I had left that role.
Nothing wrong with that. So what do you see? I mean, you do a lot of pretty cutting-edge work in terms of using video to advance messages. Do you see there being more room to grow with that concept, and if so, where?
Well, I think that there's always room. One of the things that I think is very important, and it really cuts across any particular ideology, is that there's people who are in positions of leadership say things, and when they say things, those things should matter. And too often, I think there's been I'd like to think in the past, but obviously it still continues. Someone will say something, and they won't necessarily mean it. And video provides a way of holding them accountable. So if they said something 4 years ago to sort of get through that day, or to get through that month, or to win that campaign, I think it's useful to use video as a way of holding people accountable. And it helps, I hope, make it such that they're more likely to sort of speak honestly, tell the truth going forward. So I think that can be used in any number of ways. It could also be used, unfortunately, in ways that aren't good and yeah, exactly. And but the good thing about video is ultimately it showed that Breitbart wasn't telling the truth, and that's the sort of one of the nice things, that if you can get as much stuff as possible recorded, you can sort of hold people accountable and help the cause of accuracy and truth, even if there's short-term blips like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you're based out west, right?
I've lived out west most of my life. I actually just recently moved to Louisiana. I haven't updated my biography to say that I've moved there, but so I live in Slidell, Louisiana. So I'm in the heart of red America right now.
Well, all I know is that's not inside the Beltway. Do you think it's an advantage or disadvantage either way, being so far removed from the hustle and bustle of DC and still working to capture what happens there?
Well, I think that for the role that I happen to play, it's important. But I also don't think that I play the only role. So I think it's important to have people that are outside and have a different perspective, but you have to have people that are inside as well. And to the extent that we have more voices and more ability for people to be heard, I think it really ends up being a good thing.